Gulpjes dicht.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Ja.
Are we ready?
Zo'n perfectieding.
Hey guys, I just start with the three of you.
Ja. Ja. Ja, I was gonna say this. I was in search for a bass player and somebody tipped me and said, "You need him because he got swag." And I was like, yes, I need that. And then we were playing together, jam session. CC Café. CC Muziekcafé, shout out.
Shout out.
And yeah, the deep funk sessions. And then Patrick walked in and Zubi was like, "Hey, do you know him?" No. Yeah, we need to play with him. And then I was playing, and then all of a sudden I heard like crashes and hits on my keys. And I didn't even know. I was like, boom, paf!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah.
And then he gave me his card, said, "We're gonna play a lot." That's how it started. And then Midnight Tales, of course.
Yeah.
Where we would play jam sessions live, unrehearsed, nothing like.
Yeah.
And
We tended to want to look for that part the most. Any kind of music influences would interfere with that, and it would be fun because you never know what would come. Yeah.
and we always had the saying, "You hear it for the first time, we hear it for the first time."
Yeah.
Yeah, and people would just dance and
Yeah.
groove, and we would just
Yeah.
come up with one thing after another. Oh, we're going to this style.
Yeah,
we're going
yeah,
to this
yeah.
style. It's just an adventure. As
Yeah.
much as it was for the public, it was an adventure for us because
Yeah.
we had no idea.
And sometimes
Where was
it was a pity that it was not recorded.
Yeah.
We were
Every
like,
time we
"Ah,
had that,
man."
yeah.
Yeah, but
At the end, nobody recorded it. No.
but at the same time, it was just in the moment, and then it's in space somewhere. So it's like how I like to think about it.
But on the other hand, it's really nice to still have something that you can show to other people.
Yeah.
And you can let people hear, okay, what are you doing? For those who weren't there in person,
Yeah.
but they can also get some flavor of what was happening. It kind of has two sides, I would say. On the one hand, it brings up this question of permanence and perfection.
Yeah.
Because suddenly it's fixed.
Yeah.
The recording is there, and all the things you did, all the details are there. So we were talking today even about perfection and what it means to focus on this, because when you're just playing, you play and then it's gone.
Yeah.
But here with the recording, it's still there.
I always envy painters, for instance, because there is a final stroke at some point. When is that point? As a musician, you never know, because every evening is different, every afternoon, every recording is different. So to have something physical, even if it's digital, is, to me, it's very nice to finally have something to, like, oh, we can listen back to this. And if you have stems, you can solo, like, oh damn, this is, whoa, you know?
This trio is, now we have, like, say, all the boundaries of what can and what not. And then we tend to be more structured now. We ended up working on each other's projects, and that helped a lot, because then it's structure. And within the structure now, we were looking for each other again. Azubike, I was thinking more woody kind of sound more, and it worked with what he had structured. And so that's how we played. But within the song, it started to like lift up again. And with him, the same. Back in the day, it was good to follow that stream and then each other's project made it kind of substance, and now it's a breathing and socializing thing. I really am spirit-minded. That's how I was raised. So when I hear sounds coming at me, there's always the simple basic thinking of playing a groove, keeping the groove. But within that, I can hear a whole lot of things, which makes me just, go along with it.
Be creative.
And, be creative and stay within timing. That's for me, and that helped with us. Actually, I think they like it. I think for all the years they like it. So for me, the spiritual side of music, I was raised gospel. That helps, and actually a little bit liberal for the kind of people I look up to. One of my favorites, Elvin Jones. He was not status quo. I'm not mimicking his playing, but I'm thinking of him being away from jazz, within jazz. If it's just a style of music. So he kept groove, but whoever didn't like him playing would obviously fall away, and then he would find his group. And it's a long route to find those kind of people around you. So that's how I liked how this went by itself. And my way of looking at this music is just spiritual, yeah.
Jazz in its broadest sense, I think, is also, it's a type of classical music as well. They're not distant or like unrelated entities. There's a lot of overlap. They're kind of like cousins in a way, I would say. And I think as well as in classical music, what you see is that the music can contain the full range of human emotions, full range. It's like a reflection of human experiences, or spiritual experiences. And that also comes back in the music, where sometimes it can be loud and intense and large and busy and dense, whereas in other moments it can be really sparse and empty. And that I really enjoy the fact that in this kind of music, in this kind of setting, playing with these guys, there's room for exploring all those dimensions. You know, certain settings, maybe you're just operating on one level, you're only playing very soft or very loud, just to, and it kind of dynamically it's kind of flat. But here it can really go all directions, and I think that's a very beautiful thing. And it also means that we have to be sensitive, because you can't go on autopilot and just stay on one level. And even within the songs, within the composition, it's not per se fixed how we'll express that song. Maybe one time we do it very delicately, another time it'll be very passionate, very fiery. And that requires all of us, you know, to be in tune with each other and to really listen. Okay, what's happening? How are we feeling it today?
For me, talking about instrumentalism, started with piano, classical, up until I was 12, 13. And then I quite vividly remember my drawing teacher in the staircases playing a mouth-harmonica. Like mouth, it's just harmonica, right?
Yeah.
Harmonica with like the big reverb, and I was like, you can take this like in your pocket and you can play music everywhere. So then I started to play harmonica, and that was the beginning of the journey of playing a lot of other instruments. I think as a multi-instrumentalist, you're more sensitive to what happens, what you write down for other people, and you can sometimes be more in tune with other musicians than if you don't have that. Maybe, I think so. But at the same time, I had like quite a lot of these pieces we were playing were just living in my computer, all played by me. And then I was like, yeah, I don't know. And then I just brought it to these guys, and I was like, now it comes alive, because they're putting their spirit in it and their ideas and everything. And then whoa, you know, there's a whole other dimension opening up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I love about this group actually. Also, it's just, you know, I give them something, and because we are already so in tune, there's another extension on the layer of things that can happen, and also that happen in the moment. And sometimes I'm also always open. That's the jam part actually, I think, from all of, like, the three of us and some other friends of us as well. You can really hear when they open their ears and play along. You don't necessarily always have to follow the exact rhythm and melody, but the fact that you letting somebody know, hey, I hear you.
Yeah.
And from that point, there's a whole other arrangement coming up sometimes, right? And the whole other sections and stuff, yeah.
There's some experiences that we've had that we talk about away from music.
Yeah.
Stuff that happened, you know. We even went through a kind of a dry season with COVID. That period we looked each other up a lot. We ended up working with Mame. We ended up working some kind of Burundi? Senegal music. So I found a new hymn in that also. So we took that as a little tool extra. And all these little nuances from back then to all the way now, how we grew musically, that's the technical side. I still keep what we always talked about. And it's like it works in 2025 to be here. Everything just worked out. We kind of have a bigger grasp of it now than back then, which back then it was a lot of fun, but now we have a lot of fun with some thinking, you know. And especially now working with him. He's a mastermind. He thinks he's not a mastermind, but he is. Yeah.
It's been an amazing experience so far. It's, I mean, first of all, it's great to play with these guys, but also, you know, to have such a nice recording. I mean, we had a little sneak peek downstairs of the video, and it looks amazing, it sounds amazing. And there on the stage, you know, it's like we're in our own universe, our own little bubble. And it's just such a nice thing to be able to capture a bit of that and to be able to share that with people.
Well, it's something you won't experience anywhere else, I think, with this moving camera and in this light. It's bright light, but it's also like you forget it's there, the camera, and it's like you're maybe in heaven, right? With with playing, also the sounds just all around. It's super intense and also super beautiful.
This experience with my friends, Delaney Trio, was a spiritual thing.